What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast. I'm Mr. MWO, and with me, as always, is the honorary dude, the king of all gingers, Mr. Shooting Star Press. What's going on, my dude?
Oh, man, it's Wednesday, and I've got spotty internet, so we'll see how this show goes. Hopefully we're not cut off in the middle or anything, but seems to be stable right now. So we're
all right.
We're
stable.
Good. We're
beep, good. Beep. And speaking of, I mean, we had a pretty good WWE week. I thought Raw was fire. I thought SmackDown was fire. We had the return of the GOAT, the Tribal Chief, the One, Roman Reigns, and a lot of stuff happened. We had a lot of movement, and then we had some NXT going on. Really quick though, I know this is a WWE Wednesday episode, but we have breaking news today, and I wanted to bring it up very quickly. I didn't even prep you on this. I wanted to surprise you. I was shocked to read this news because Tony Khan was supposed to make a huge announcement tonight on Dynamite. And then they announced that on June 17th, Saturday Night Collision will be starting June 17th, 2 hours, starting at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So I was confused. So what's the announcement then? Are we getting the return of your boy tonight? CM Punk, is that the announcement? Is the announcement the brand split? What's the announcement now since we already got the Collision announcement? I'm very confused. Did you not even hear that? You didn't see that? I got you breaking news. Yeah. It was a real big surprise. Yeah, it's happening. It's already been announced, put out there. That Saturday show is official, June 17th.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if they are going to, because Tony Khan did promise us an announcement. He did say on the show last week that it was going to be a special announcement on TNT when AEW Dynamite airs on TBS. But so I don't know if he did. He says that was intentional, and maybe that's what this was. Maybe that's what the Collision stuff was, because it's going to be on TNT, which I thought it was going to be. I'm surprised at the time. I thought it was going to be prime time on Saturday nights. But yeah, I think it's a good news. It's good news for AEW. I think it's
sure
good to have an extra show. Now you can. I don't necessarily know if they need to do a brand split. I don't think they need to have a draft or anything like that.
Oh gosh, no.
WWE can't even hang on to their draft. And
no, we'll get into that.
We don't need to do anything like that. But I think it's good to get some extra guys featured on AEW. Their roster's stacked, and it's hard to fill them in on 2 hours every week. So, I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen this news, and apparently B-roll is here. He's talking about the logo and everything of Collision.
The logo looks just like WCW Nitro. It's awesome. Like the colors and there it is. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were talking about. B-roll, what's good? Our dude. I love B-roll. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm excited. They also said Samoa Joe was like exclusive to it or something like that. Thunder Rosa and Miro. So I guess that's why they went in there. So I'm sure they're going to bring it up. But I thought it was kind of weird. Samoa Joe, isn't he still the ROH champion? I don't watch ROH. Yeah. And what's going to happen to ROH? I mean, I guess we'll get into this on Friday, but I just wanted to make that announcement. Yeah.
The rumor mill, because we can talk about Samoa Joe and CM Punk. They're former WWE guys, so it makes sense. But the rumor mill is that AEW is pushing for CM Punk versus Chris Jericho to have him wrestle. That's gonna be Punk's first program back. But Punk is apparently pushing for Samoa Joe versus CM Punk on that first night of Collision. That's what the rumor mill is saying, that Punk is, he's okay to work with Jericho, but he wants to have his first match back with Samoa Joe. So maybe that's why Samoa Joe is exclusive to Collision. But either way, it's an exciting time for AEW. I think it's great news. I wish that the announcement, and maybe we'll get more details tonight on Dynamite, but I wish they would have told us about the future of pay-per-views, because they have a big pay-per-view next week, Double or Nothing. So is that going to be on HBO Max or
Not yet, right? I don't think
Cinemax,
so. Yeah.
or is that going to be in the future? Because they did mention streaming, and that AEW would have streaming rights on Warner Brothers Discovery, or at
Mm-hmm.
least that's what the rumor was saying. But there was nothing in the announcement about it. So curious to see where they go with that, and hopefully we get some more details on it soon. But
And
I
that
think
might
it's
be the
great.
announcement. Tonight might be the
Yeah,
streaming. It might be streaming. It might be CM Punk. They might do all crossing my fingers for the whole library. You got to have the whole library. We around for 5 years. We need to get that out there
sure.
and get that going for sure.
So
Another thing I have to buy.
yeah, either way, it's an exciting time for AEW, and it's an exciting time for wrestling.
I think it's an exciting time for wrestling fans in general. I mean, get rid of Rampage, have 2 hours now. So now we got 3 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and 2 hours. That's good for every wrestler, people who work in the biz, and the fans. So whether you like AEW, whether you like WWE, this is good. And if you only like one or the other, it's good as well, because they're doing this because the competition is strong now, and you have to show out, and we're going to get good shows constantly, which we have been. So I mean, look at Raw and SmackDown. I mean, they were phenomenal. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah, and I know we talked, and we'll get back to WWE, but I know we talked about this last week. But I think if anything, this also silences the critics of AEW that, well, this is what killed WCW, and they have really bad ratings, and Tony Khan doesn't know, he's not growing the business. I think that was Eric Bischoff's big critique, is he's not doing anything to grow AEW. I think this grows them significantly. I think, especially if they can get streaming rights and they can get a streaming service. I think, I think this is a great thing for wrestling. It really is. And I'm excited for it. And all the AEW haters that thought it was going to fizzle out, I think you're going to have it for 5 more years at least. So
at least
should be an exciting time.
But remember this, though, with WCW, right? One, they were both on Turner, so you never know. And Turner, supposedly, Eric Bischoff, other people claim, executives, that Turner was the death of WCW, not their bad booking. So that's one. Two, they're taking the logo. Three, remember that WCW was also way bigger than it. People compare them, which I can see similarities with drama and with being new and on Turner. But other than that, there's not many similarities, because WCW was way bigger than, like, WCW, was bigger than WWE. AEW will never be bigger than WWE. So when you're that high, they just went high too quick and came down to, it was just how it works, right? It's like Rome, right? You got to go up and then you go down. I mean, it's just, they were destined for that. So I think it's two different things too. AEW being where they are, staying steady, 1 million, 2 million viewers, get around there. I think they'll do just fine and be able to stick. Look at Impact. They've been around forever and people don't barely even know about them. So AEW can stick around, especially with Turner and having more shows. And a streaming service will guarantee it. I mean, that's like money in the bank. So
no pun intended.
But
yeah, also I just want to know too, like Collision, will it be live? Will it be pre-taped? Will there be certain shows that are live?
It's live, right? I think so.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, and I'm looking at the announcement now. I don't see anything that says it, but yeah, because I think maybe the first episode, of course, will be live, just like CM Punk when he returned at Rampage, that was live. But going forward, will it be pre-taped or what? I don't know, but either way, it's exciting.
Who wants to work on a Saturday? Yeah, who's going to work every Saturday?
Yeah,
that's like no fun. Like, oh, Saturday night. Well, that's why I think they put it at 5 too, because I know kids watch, but a lot of adults watch wrestling again, and I just feel like that demographic, people go out, man. You're not going to get a lot of fans 8 o'clock on a Saturday, every Saturday. Like once in a while when you do a pay-per-view, I get it, right? You got to stay home, and I miss most of them. We were just talking about how I'm going to miss Night of Champions. I'm going to a baseball game. Like you go, Saturday nights are meant to do, like, it's your weekend. So that's why weekdays are good, because you get off work, you get off school, you go home, you watch it. So we'll see how that does with the ratings. I'm curious. This even 5 o'clock is tough. Because that's 8 o'clock you guys. So
yeah, this says it's going to be 8 to 10 Eastern time, 5 o'clock your time. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Remember, my time is, I get them still at 8 o'clock my time. I don't get them at 5 for some reason. Called The Second Coming. Oh.
Yeah, because that's what the first episode's gonna. Because remember, the Rampage was.
That's what I call my Saturday nights. Boom.
Rampage was the first dance, because they were in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
They had the last dance that had just aired a few years ago. So this one's called The Second Coming, and CM Punk is known as the Second City Saint. So. And he's coming again to AEW, and this one's I think is in Chicago. So
he's coming again. Poor AJ Lee. All right. Good thing she's never gotten pregnant. We don't need any more CM Punk.
CM Punk's track record with women, though, is pretty impressive. With he's had Lita. I think he had Beth Phoenix at one point. He had Mickey James. He's got AJ Lee now. There was another. couple other women that he dated.
Man, you just named like 3 wrestling females who are like married now to like other wrestlers. You think that's weird? Like I've always wondered that. Like you're dating this wrestling girl and you're like, oh man, like Beth Phoenix or like Edge. Like I think Beth's ever like, oh yeah, all that fun stuff with Lita and you taken from Matt Hardy, and like, is that ever brought up or you just move on? Like it's not like it's like an ex. Like you know these people, you see her in the back, you like like Lita's around, Beth Phoenix is around. Like they were bumped into each other. Like, oh hey, Lita, remember you used to pound my husband every day for like 2 years? Like it's
big
just
gulps, huh?
yeah, big gulps.
Big gulps.
See you later.
All right, well, see you later.
It's just I just feel like it's weird, right? It's weird to even know your girl like has an ex, and then let alone having to see them all the time. Like I still with Angle and Jarrett, like I couldn't even imagine. Like, oh, that's my wife. 3 days later, oh, you're banging her? Cool. All right, well, let's wrestle together.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that's like. But
gotta have thick skin, man. Anyway, let's get into WWE since it's 11 minutes, and let's start with SmackDown. And if we're gonna start with SmackDown, we have to start with the most important person in all of wrestling today. Just kidding. Roman Reigns, the return of Roman Reigns, and it's.
So, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about you, big dog.
Let's do it.
Anyway, Roman. I mean, once again, I know that people are crapping on him, and I know Seth is crapping on him right now about not being around. But I'm telling you, when Roman Reigns shows up because he's never around, it feels so damn important. His presence, the music, everything about him feels good. And I really, really, really like this promo. We were talking about before that, where are they going to go with it? Is he going to talk about the title? Is he going to talk about the Usos? Is he going to? I like that he just came out and did his damn thing. He didn't talk about that title at all, which was phenomenal because I was worried that if he shat on the title, then what's the point, right? Because Seth's trying to make it feel important. AJ, they had the tournament that night. If he was going to crap all over it and say how it's the fake title and he's the real champ and blah, 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 people would have tuned out, being like, then why do I care about this tournament? So it was great booking to not have him even, they didn't even, like Paul Heyman looked at it, but he didn't even like mention it. He didn't even say like, who the F is that title? Like he didn't say nothing. He just talked about how they main evented WrestleMania both nights. Only the bloodline could do that. Only his family can do that. And then he attacked the Usos, literally attacked Jimmy. And it's so funny with the bloodline because they always go like back and forth. Like everybody's like different every single time. Like Jimmy was like the fun, happy one. And then when they turned on Sammy, he was the one who was like wanting to murder him. And Jay was the one who like hated everyone and hates Roman, and then he's like the one who like came back, and then he's the one who stops Jimmy from and apologizes. He wouldn't apologize 3 weeks ago. Like it's like all over the place, which is awesome because I think that's going to lead to one day Jay saying it was all a trap and he was just trying to get Roman to give him that title shot. But it was awesome stuff. Roman cut awesome stuff. I like that he was throwing Jimmy's head around and that Jimmy wanted a piece. I like that Solo just stands there and does absolutely nothing. I love that Paul Heyman, every time he like got in their faces, is like shaking, and like he even got out of the ring because he's like so uncomfortable because his family are fighting and bickering. And Roman makes fun of them because they dedicated a match to Roman and then lost it when they had the rematch for the tag team titles. And he said, why would you do it to me when we have tag team Hall of Famers in our bloodline? Which he then announces that at Night of Champions, we are going to have a tag team title match. And Jay's like, that's why I apologize. But it's going to be him and Solo Sikoa versus Sammy and KO. And he's dedicating it to his tag team homies that he was announcing it to, their dads and so on. So it was good stuff. I liked it. I like that it built the storyline, and that's all it focused on. Because with the bloodline, we got to get there. Are we going to get there by WrestleMania 40? Are we going to get there by SummerSlam? Are we going to get there by WrestleMania 42? Who knows? But I like that they can continue going. It got stale a little bit. We were just seeing the Usos. Roman shows up one night and like instantly sparks it all back up. So stop crapping on Roman, y'all. Roman is a god in this business right now, and he is the man, and his presence, just him appearing, just feels good. Feels good. It's nice.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought I was a little disappointed at first when he didn't mention anything about the World Heavyweight Championship.
So you were upset by that. See? Okay.
At first. And then I was like, okay, I kind of understand why he didn't. But I think the thing was that made me mad about it was Paul Heyman said Roman Reigns will address this new World Heavyweight Championship when he returns, and then he didn't. So I was just like, Okay, yet again, they're not following through on something. But I mean, it was a minor thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, I did want him to, because they took shots at him. They took shots at him being not a fighting champion and not being there. Triple H even took a shot at him, saying this world heavyweight champion will not need your acknowledgement. And so I
Mhm.
really wanted Roman to address it. But it's not a big deal that he didn't. I'm probably better for it because he didn't. But at the end of the day, I thought this was a great segment. It's a great way to advance the story because, like you said, the bloodline's been getting really stale over the last few weeks, and it's been Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa, Matt Riddle, Solo Sikoa, Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa over and over and over again. And then Sami Zayn fighting Jey Uso, Kevin Owens hitting stunners on people, and just wash, rinse, repeat. And now we finally get to the next chapter of that story, and it's going to be Solo and Roman against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles. And Roman also dedicated the match himself to the Wild Samoans, a former tag team that's in their family. So yeah, I thought they did everything right with this. I think it's Roman has an opportunity to get 2 more belts. So are we going to call him Roman 4 belts? Is he going to try to take the belt collector gimmick from Kenny Omega? I don't know, but I am excited. I think it was a great way to advance the story, great way to the next chapter, and I'm curious to see what they do at Night of Champions. Does Roman leave with the titles? Does Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, do they somehow get a win? Do the Usos play a role in it? Does Solo play a role? So yeah, it's compelling stuff, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, we got predictions next week. We'll see, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So for me, for SmackDown, let's just talk about the World Heavyweight Championship.
All right.
And hang on, let me get my.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the title that you didn't win, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. With, you had the opening match of the night was 3 baby faces: Edge versus
Ray.
AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. The name I couldn't remember who it was, but and then the other match that was two heels and a tweener, or 2 heels and a baby face, or 3 heels. I don't really know. But it was Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. In the first match of the night, I enjoyed the Edge AJ Styles match. I think those guys can go. I like that commentary played on their history because they wrestled each other at WrestleMania just a few years ago, back when Edge was a heel and he was part of Judgment Day, and so that was all cool. I still was perplexed at AJ Styles winning. I like AJ Styles. I think he's a great wrestler in WWE. I think, I'm glad that he's back after that ankle injury that sidelined him for a while. But I don't know. I feel like this was Edge's to win. Edge should have gotten the win in that match, and then he should have gone on to wrestle Bobby Lashley. He could have wrestled Sheamus. He could have wrestled Austin Theory. Somebody in the finals, and then I would have wanted to see Seth Rollins versus Edge, run that rivalry back again. This time as 2 completely different characters from where they wrestled the last time, but we didn't get that. We got AJ Styles getting the win, which again I'm not mad at. I think AJ's a great wrestler, and I think his match at the pay-per-view will be solid. But then later in the night we got Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory versus Sheamus. And I know you'll talk about this later tonight, or later on in our segment, but Theory took the loss in that triple threat, and Bobby Lashley got the win. And so it set up the TNA Impact main event of the night: Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles one last time. And yeah, I mean, it was another great match, another solid. I'm glad Bobby Lashley had something to do after all the stuff happened at WrestleMania, where he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then really nothing came out of it. But AJ winning, AJ got the win. I'm excited for him. It's going to be a great match with him and Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. And I'll talk more about this in our segment later tonight, or later today as well. But the one thing I found weird was after AJ Styles won, the OC came out, and I completely forgot that he was even part of the OC. I know that he's been interacting with him the last couple of weeks, and he is he's been, when he was drafted to Raw, they showed him talking to the OC, and everybody was. But I still just forgot that they're even like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are part of WWE at the moment, and but it was still a cool night. I'm happy for AJ. I think it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a great match with him and Seth Rollins. They have some history with each other. I think they had a match before in Money in the Bank 2019 or something, and that was a really great match. So I think these two guys have similar styles. No pun intended. They have they're similar in the ring. They're both baby faces. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think WWE made the right decision. I still wanted Edge to win, but AJ is a good choice. And I'm excited to see this match at Night of Champions between AJ and Seth.
And before I jump into it, I want to say AJ and Seth is money. So I just want to state that now before I get into my critiquing. But in the first match, I thought the first match was a banger. I know it was 3 baby faces, but I thought it was solid. Ray obviously wasn't going to win. I thought it would either be AJ or Edge. I predicted, I think last week when we first talked about it, I think I said it was going to be AJ and Seth. I felt like it would, but after Edge, he cut like a scathing promo about how he's going to win the title and this and that. I thought, okay, shoot, it's going to be Edge. Maybe we'll get Edge versus Seth, and then maybe Seth's doing movies and stuff. Maybe Edge will get that win and get one more title run. I was kind of banking on that. Obviously, that didn't happen. AJ won the first match, but it was a banger. I think it would have been better for Edge to win as well. There you go, B-roll. Yeah, we definitely missed an opportunity. Yeah, one last. He could have followed the Christian thing. One
could
last
have
ride.
Finished the story.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, let's finish the story. So and then the other one, I thought out of everybody, I thought there was no chance I thought it was pointless for Bobby Lashley to win. I didn't think it benefited him at all. And they had it out when Theory threw him up against the steel stairs and he got busted open. I saw that too. Bobby Lashley went head first. I don't know why people go head first. You have hands for a reason, but he went head first, and I think he must have hit the edge or something because he got busted open pretty good. He was still bleeding when he wrestled AJ in the main event. Or maybe it was a Theory bad one. I don't know. But either way, I thought Theory should have won. If you're going to have your champion in a championship match, you got to have him win. Let him win the first one, move on to the finals. Then he could have found a way to lose the AJ, but at least he would have got at least one win. So he lost. He took the pin. I didn't get it. Sheamus being in it too. I thought Sheamus Edge would have been fun. Sheamus AJ could have been fun. So, and you're hyping Sheamus. I mean, he ended up going to get some pints later on, but I mean, yeah, I was confused. I mean, I thought both matches were good. The first one was better. I like that Corey Graves brought up the fact that the first 3 men, Ray, Edge, and AJ, have over 90 years of wrestling experience combined, which was pretty surreal and made me feel like an old freaking man. Just saying, Edge never actually lost the World Heavyweight title. He didn't.
No, he really didn't.
But he did win the Rumble, came back, and then lost in a title match by being pinned on top of Daniel Bryan, or under him, whatever it was.
But it also feels like they're not talking about the history of the World Heavyweight Championship. They're making this feel like it's a brand new title. Like they keep saying, who's going to be the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion? Well, if you want to be the inaugural world, we got to go back to the 60s, 70s, whatever, 50s, whenever wrestling started. But it feels like they're treating this like a brand new title and not even talking about the old history of the World Heavyweight Championship.
And I didn't even pay attention to what they called Roman when he came out. Did they just call him the Universal?
They called him the undisputed Universal
So
champion.
He's still the undisputed Universal Champion.
Yeah, and he brought 2 belts out. So now
he can't get a new belt? Like
maybe they're waiting for his 1,000th day to give him a new title, but that's at Saudi Arabia, which is what I thought they were going to do and not a tag team match. But and I thought Theory taking the pin was weird. I also thought Edge taking the pin was weird. Like not Ray. Ray has nothing to lose. It's not going to hurt Ray in any way, shape, or form for him to take a loss and to take a pinfall loss. So to have Edge do it, and especially in his first match back after beating Finn Balor at WrestleMania, he missed Backlash. He's lost some of the big matches that he's been in since he's been back, and I don't know. It just felt weird for him to take a clean loss like that. I would have been fine if he had taken a pin in the semifinals against AJ Styles. Like if they had done it completely differently and it was Edge versus AJ and he took the pin there, I would have been fine with that. But to take it in the first match, I thought that was a little weird too.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I'm going to change subjects and talk about something nobody thought I would probably talk about on SmackDown. I'm going to talk about Baron Corbin. And
All right.
reasons why is because when I started this TikTok account that I got last June, almost a year I've been on TikTok, I literally said I answered a most underrated wrestler of all time, and I said Baron Corbin. I always thought he was. He's known by fans, not just fans, sorry, by wrestlers, that he is one of the safest in the ring, never hurts anyone, good look. He's a company man. Literally, the dude has he's like the Miz basically on the level of jobbing and what he'll do and all his awful gimmicks. He won the Money in the Bank once, was supposed to get the title, and basically, I forgot what he said, but he talked about, I think, concussions or something. He made some stupid comment online, and basically the WWE banned him and then made him drop the Money in the Bank, and he never really recovered, and that's what he became, all these stupid gimmicks
He
he's
said
been
that
since.
CTE is not real because he played
There
football.
There you go. Yeah, which is a stupid comment. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, so he did all this, but he started kind of getting back. They put him with JBL. Looked like he was going to get like a thing, and that JBL thing just ended. And now he's the guy who calls out people and loses to them constantly. I don't know. So he wrestled Cameron Grimes. I'm okay with him taking an out from Cameron Grimes. If you need Cameron Grimes to build, he can be like the Dolph Ziggler. He literally cut a promo about how he was going to put him on his back in 2 minutes. And as soon as he put the mic down, he got put in the finisher and lost in about 3 seconds. I'm very, very confused on if Baron Corbin did something wrong. Does the WWE not believe in him? We did this draft. NXT has room for people to go back over. We lost Apollo Crews and other people, Jinder Mahal, other guys who went over to help promote these younger talents. Why is Baron Corbin not in NXT right now? You can put the title on that dude eventually, and he can help elevate. Why not rebook it? Put him back as, how he was before, his original character. Bring him over there. Let him just run with it. Be an awesome heel. Is he the new Miz? Miz now is starting to have some better matches. So is he going to lose to Snoop Dogg next WrestleMania? I'm so confused. Yeah, is he going to host it? I'm so confused on what they're doing with Baron Corbin because he looks good. He's in shape. He can still go. He's great on the mic. I'm just very, very caught off guard by why keep bringing him? Is this like another? He already did the loser gimmick where he lost all the time and had no money and grew his hair. Like, are we doing that again? I don't know what we're doing. Or is this leading him to NXT? We can have somebody else take these jobs. I don't know why it's Baron Corbin in 3 seconds.
Yeah, that was weird. All of that was weird. It felt like, like he's done something wrong or he's getting buried somehow, and they don't trust him anymore or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. Maybe this is their way of writing him off TV, and he's so embarrassed and humiliated that he lost to Cameron Grimes, so he's gonna go because Cameron Grimes is an NXT call-up, so maybe he goes to NXT and destroys everybody in NXT because he lost to Cameron Grimes in 5 seconds or whatever it was. I don't know, but they need to do something with Baron Corbin because he's safe in the ring. He can go. He's the last one to pin Roman Reigns clean.
Yes, he is.
And he makes that known. He has made almost just about every character that he's made it work. From the Lone Wolf to Constable Corbin to Sad Corbin to Happy Corbin to whatever he even had his modern day wrestling god shirt on, and that was working for a little bit with JBL, and then
I thought so.
Then it just ended. They just started making him lose to random people all the time, and yeah, I like Corbin, and I think he can go, but this just. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him, and maybe this is their way of getting him to NXT. So because NXT is really scarce, and they need challengers after Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. After that whole program is done, they need challengers for Carmelo's title.
I agree.
And Baron Corbin, I think, would be a good person. Maybe he debuts at Battleground and afterwards and takes out Carmelo Hayes. And I don't know, but they need to do something. But speaking of NXT, I thought it was a good night for them as well, the NXT call-ups, because we got to see Pretty Deadly. We got to see Cameron Grimes. Speaking of NXT call-ups, we got to see AJ Styles will be on the Grayson Waller effect when it makes its SmackDown debut this Friday. And then, of course, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn made their appearances as well on SmackDown. So, yeah, I think it was a good night for the NXT call-ups. I think the future is bright for them, especially, I mean, it's got to be bright for Cameron Grimes. Maybe they're building him up because that was an impressive win over a guy like Baron Corbin.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, one other thing I want to talk about from SmackDown is the what they're doing, the championship celebration with Bianca Belair. First of all, they're celebrating the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. Like,
Yeah.
but okay, whatever. That's fine. That's all well and good. You know, and I'm, but I gotta say, when Asuka came out and got her revenge and spit the mist into Bianca Belair's face, I loved it. I thought it was great. This is exactly how they should have built their match for WrestleMania. No, none of this. Let's team together and be friends, and we know we're opponents, but we're gonna be friends tonight. Like none of that stuff. It was straight. Like I want that title. I spit in the face of people I don't think are cool, and she spat in her face. And then the sell job by Bianca Belair too, when they showed her backstage, in the training room, just still screaming in agony and pain from the blue mist. I don't know. I thought the way they did it was perfect. That's how they should have built the WrestleMania match. And I'm more excited about Asuka versus Bianca Belair at Night of Champions than I was at WrestleMania, because I had a feeling of the outcome at WrestleMania. Now I'm not so sure. If Asuka leaves, I like the mind games that she's playing. I like the heel work that she's doing. So this is, like I said, this is how they should have built the Mania match. I like what they're doing for Night of Champions, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good match and nicely done by both ladies.
Yeah, I agree with you. I dug it too. The only thing I didn't like about it was that I thought she should have put more work into her. She spit on her. She spits on people in matches, and they don't get that devastated. So it was very LeBron James, right? I mean,
Flopped,
he was definitely flopped the bananas out of that. But I liked it. I thought maybe she should have stomped on her face too, and maybe put that injury more, and then she could have been at least, oh, my face, I got stomped on, and I'm blinded. But you are right. That's what they should have done for Mania. We talked about that. Their build was the worst. And if Bianca wins again, I don't know why Raw belt are we just like going to ignore that? Is it just the Raw champion defending it on SmackDown now? But either way, I think it's too late to swap belts. I mean, they've been on like 3 episodes now.
You can't have a championship celebration for the Raw title on SmackDown.
It was because she had it for a year, right? Yeah. That was the whole thing, right? Yeah, and then have a belt swap. Yeah, so it's I guess they're just going to defend it on each other's brands. But if Asuka doesn't win, then what the heck? Like, I mean, you couldn't have her win when she was friendly, and then you couldn't have her win as a bad guy. So is this going to just kind of put Asuka to the side again, just so Bianca Belair can continue her boring reign as champion? I hope it turns Bianca into a heel. I keep saying Bianca needs a turn because she is stale AF. I am over it and bored. Even her celebration, I'm glad it didn't happen. When it was coming on, I was like, ugh. I just don't want to. Bianca just needs to get off my screen unless she's going to do something else. I mean, she's very John Cena right now, and I don't like John Cena. So, putting me to sleep, Bianca.
Yeah, and I thought the same thing when they said a championship celebration. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be bad. But the Puerto Rico crowd, they booed Bianca Belair, and maybe this is the start of a heel turn. And Bianca seemed like she was feeding into that, the booing when she in that match at Backlash against. Who'd she wrestle at Backlash?
Bianca?
Yeah.
She wrestled Io Sky.
Io Sky, that's who it was.
In a phenomenal match.
Yeah, it was a great match. And but it felt like she was feeding into the negativity from the crowd, and felt like she was, absorbing the booze a little bit. And so maybe this will lead to a heel turn. I'm still in the camp that I want to see a power couple. With Montez Ford and Bianca Belair as heels at the top of SmackDown, and I think they can make it happen. But
I agree.
I know it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen overnight. But yeah, I'm digging this build. I'm more excited about this match at Night of Champions than I was at WrestleMania.
Oh, by far. And that was a perfect segue. You didn't mean to, but let's go into Raw. And speaking of power couples, I want to talk about the true power couple in all of wrestling. That's Rhea Ripley, Mommy, and Dom Dom. For one. Sir. I'm going to post it today, but if you didn't see it on TikTok and you have a TikTok, go on it. There was an awesome Happy Mother's Day video TikTok by WWE dedicated to Mommy, and it was like all the times Dominic has ever said Mommy and things with her. It's hilarious. Awesome. I'm going to put it on my TikTok today, but classic stuff. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, my 2 segments for Raw are all Judgment Day. I'm wearing the shirt. Judgment Day had a rockin' night finally. They finally were treated with respect. But I'll start off with they came out and they interrupted KO and Sammy, and KO once again is a treasure. He had phenomenal phenomenal comments about the whole like get in and fight and blah blah blah. And Sammy was like, no, let's hear him out. Maybe they're just here to support us. I don't know. We don't have any beef with the Judgment Day. And then they're like, we want to fight you. And KO's like, I told you, let's slap Dominic in the face. Rhea gets involved. I mean, it's just I love the fact that Rhea protects Dom Dom and that Dom Dom not only hides behind her, but mocks them. It's awesome. It's very Shawn Michaels Diesel, but it's our Triple H in China, if we want to get really exact. It's just phenomenal stuff. And there's nothing better than having a beautiful woman who's going to beat somebody's butt for you. I mean, that's what every man wants, right? A Rhea Ripley, but it is great stuff, but they shined and Dom Dom wrestled Xavier Woods again. He won with the help of Rhea, got a cheap pinfall. It's actually a pretty cool one because he like pinned him, rolled him up with his legs, but was like looking at Rhea the whole time as he was like pinning her 1, 2, 3. And then he like rolled out into her after looking into her eyes. And they were soups McCute. They like had their arms around each other. They were all huggy. Buddy Murphy, what's going on, bro? They're getting a little bit closer and closer every single week. We got this situation going, you know, hopefully, not like that. I don't want to mention it because that would end it poorly, but we got a situation going. But we can say Jared and Angle. I don't know. But anyway, and then Rhea meets Natalia in the back and they have a little thing or she's talking or whatever. And Dom Dom interrupts and basically, you know, they hold hands and walk out together. They are like amazing. And one of the things I love about it is during this promo, Dom Dom got major heat again. And I love that it's a thing now. And it's so much a thing now that KO and Sammy even like built it up, which is awesome because that's like building him as well, building his character, wrestlers helping wrestlers. I love it. But I love that Rhea always goes first and she gets cheered and she gets chanted and she's like, you know, the heel who gets cheered like Roman and MJF. And then Dom Dom's next and he gets booed out of the effing building. It's such a great dynamic. These two are like, I'm glad because people were like, Judgment Day is going to break up. Yeah, get out of my face with that. All four of them are so over and can be phenomenal. Damian Priest is now finally hitting on all cylinders, which I'll get into, but it's so nice to see this. The name a better couple right now are in the last 20 years than Rhea and Dom Dom, man. I mean, it is. And Dom Dom's getting better and better. And not only that, but Rhea is getting better and better. She's starting to really embrace this character, knows how to feed off of Dom Dom, and Dom Dom knows how to feed off her. It is like magic. It was a magical night for them too, with their segments, their opening, and their matches. So yeah.
And I was actually going to go to this Monday Night Raw because it was in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is about an hour and a half from where I am. But then I had a child at home that was sick, and I couldn't make it happen. And by the time I would have gotten there, Raw would have started, and it just I want to get there before the show starts. But, but this was all of this was incredible. The heel heat that Dominic gets. I love. First of all, we talked about this last week with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being just treasures. You know, Kevin Owens especially, and I like how I feel like they are just like the everyman in WWE. Like they say what we're all thinking. They say that it feels like it's like you and me out there as a tag team and some of the stuff we would say, because Kevin Owens was, he was fired up, and then Sami Zayn's like, hey, you're a level 10 right now. I need you to bring it down a little bit. We don't I know you're passionate, I know you're heated, but let's bring it down a little. I mean, I think they have a cool dynamic too. And Kevin Owens even saying, I'm sick of talking about the bloodline, so I'm actually glad you guys are out here because I want to fight. I love it. I love it all. I think it was great. But again, it felt random though. It still felt random having Kevin Owens and Sami interrupted by the bloodline, or by the Judgment Day rather. But yeah, it just felt, Finn Balor cutting a promo saying that, we're next in line for the tag team titles, but what if Roman and Solo win? Are they still next in line? Because then the titles move to SmackDown. So, just little things like that. But I think the dynamic, like you said, is great. Judgment Day is getting pushed the right way. It's fine. It's well overdue and well deserved for them. And I like what they're doing. Finn Balor can go. He's proving it. I think he's going to be an upper main event guy. I think it's going to be a matter of time before Damian Priest has some gold around his waist. Dom Dom, keeps doing his thing. Rhea Ripley's doing her thing. Judgment Day finally is getting, getting treated the right way, and they won. That's the big thing too. They won instead of Dominic won his match with Xavier Woods. Rhea Ripley's doing her thing, and she's obviously going to beat Natalya. I don't think there's any chance that Natalya is beating her. And then in the main event, which we'll talk about, Damian Priest and Finn Balor got a win over KO and Sami as well. So this is how they should be booking Judgment Day. We talked last week that it's hard to take them seriously when they come out and lose all the time, but now I feel like I can take them seriously again, and hopefully they build off this momentum and they keep it going.
For sure.
One other thing too, I don't know if you saw this, but they did speaking of Judgment Day, they did a backstage interview with JD McDonough. And they showed a video highlight of him and talking about his NXT career, and then they did a backstage interview where he was leaving the arena, which what funny how the video package plays, and all of a sudden he's like, all right, I'm out, I've done my part. And like he's leaving, or he attacked Dolph Ziggler earlier in the
he attacked Dolph Taft.
But yeah, they showed that he did his interview, and then as the camera panned away as he was leaving, it panned back to the interviewer. You could see Finn Balor kind of looming and looking, and it made me wonder.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, is Judgment Day? Yeah, if I have the clip, I'll show it to you. But it showed Finn Balor. He was wearing his Finn 14 staples, and he's just in the back. You see him, and he's looking at JD, and then the camera cuts away. So it made me wonder, like, is he next to join Judgment Day?
I hope so.
I think it would be great. I think
Yep.
There's so many things you could do with him in Judgment Day. I think it's perfect for him. Him and Dom could go after the tag team titles. Him and Priest could go after the tag team titles. Dom could go after a singles title. Finn could go after Seth Rollins in the World Heavyweight Championship. So there's so many ways you could do this. So yeah, I really think it could be a good thing for JD McDonough to come to the Judgment Day.
I agree.
And I talked about this just a minute ago, but the this Intercontinental Championship #1 contender battle royal. This is okay. What are we doing? I mean, like, honestly, it's Gunther's first night on Monday Night Raw. He makes his Raw debut because for whatever reason he couldn't do it last week when after being drafted. You have Imperium show up, and then you in this battle royal. I'm trying to get the contender who all it was in the match, but
everybody who was it, yeah.
Matt Riddle was in there. Apollo Crews, who's making his main roster re-debut, I guess. Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Von Wagner, JD McDonough, Zion Quinn. They're all in the match. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler's in the match. I think that there was a lot of cool things about this match. I think that the creative team did a good job to help introduce further storylines. Case in point, Dolph Ziggler and JD McDonough. JD McDonough attacking Dolph Ziggler in this match. Some of the other things that went on in the match. Probably going to start Alpha Academy and Viking Raiders. So there's a lot of cool things that went on there. But the winner, I like Mustafa Ali.
That's your boy.
Yeah, I do, but it's hard to take him seriously. It really is because, I've been wanting him to get a push, and I think the last time they were in Saudi Arabia on our last podcast that we did before this one, I was pushing for him to wrestle Seth Rollins for the U.S. Championship, and he didn't. They weren't even on the card, but they'd been like building to it, and I was excited for him to finally be getting a push because they had been building him and building him and building him. Now, the last few months, he's been losing and losing and losing and losing. And then he wins he beats Chad Gable, which
he won a couple in a row, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he beat Otis, which great, cool. But is that enough to propel you into the Intercontinental Championship picture? I don't know. But he wins this battle royal, and I don't know. It feels. I like Mustafa. I really do. I like his character. I do like this gimmick, the positive Ali thing. I do like it, and because I like that he's still kind of a heel and he's calling other people losers and that kind of thing. So, he's
reeking of positivity. That's his gimmick.
Yeah, and B-roll's all about it. Mustafa Mania, and yeah, he got pyro in his entrance, which they're treating him the way that they should be. But are they doing this because they're going to Saudi Arabia, and then is he going to be buried again afterwards? I don't know. Is he a legit threat to Gunther's Intercontinental Championship? No. Should Gunther even be worried about Mustafa Ali? No. That's why it feels kind of a letdown to me. I think that, you could have had one of these NXT call-ups make their debut. I would have liked to see JD McDonough against Gunther at Night of Champions, or anybody against Gunther at Night of Champions. But I don't know about Mustafa. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy for him, and I think it'll be a great match. I think Gunther can wrestle a mop, and it would be a great match. But I don't know. Ricochet would have been a good option for Gunther. I know they've had their history in the past.
They just wrestled,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. This just feels random, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, we agree and disagree on this one. So for one, I thought I have to say how much I appreciate Gunther, because he seems like the most proud and happy champion in all of wrestling. I mean, he praises the shnikes out of his belt. He talks about how important it is all the time, how much he loves it, how he just wants to defend it, never wants to lose it. Nobody else talks as highly about. It's like he's married to that belt. That belt is his woman. I love it. It makes it feel important. And Gunther just looks like a threatening presence. I'm okay with it was definitely random, so I agree with you on that. Mustafa Ali, he popped out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, wait, huh? And then he threw everybody out, and I was like, oh, okay, Mustafa Ali won. But I'm for it. I mean, obviously, it's just because he's in Saudi, but you know what? Jinder Mahal had a championship run, too, for random reasons. I mean, politics play a role in this game. It is what it is. But he has no chance against Gunther, but I think it's going to be a heck of a match. I think Gunther is good against high flyers. I think Mustafa Ali has a big enough chest and takes enough pain to get chopped the entire match. I think it's going to be fun. I think the crowd is going to be into it as well, so that'll help Gunther when the crowd is booing the bananas at him and cheering for Mustafa as Gunther wins. I don't think it'll be a squash. I think it'll be a close match. I think Mustafa Ali will have some close falls, but I think after that he'll go back to wherever he needs to go to and not feel important. But I like, too, that backstage Gunther was like insulting him and making him like just smiling at him. I've never seen Gunther smiling at him like he was a piece of trash that he's not even worried about. And Mustafa Ali cut a good promo saying, well, don't worry, you're going to go to my hometown. I'm going to beat the snot out of you. It was nice. He didn't back down. He wasn't afraid. I thought it was a good build there. They got a week to see what happens with it, and we can keep moving it. But random, yes. I think it'll be a good match. I think it's good for Gunther. He needs to wrestle other people, and he needs to get some more wins. And sometimes you can get over by losing, but I don't know. They've tried to Mustafa Ali so much. I don't think he's going anywhere. The dude needs to go to AEW, but I just think he fits better there. But I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's getting that shot. We'll see what happens. And speaking of people who finally get what they deserve, I'm going to keep talking about the Judgment Day. And so we can go quick with this one, but my boys, Priest and Finn Balor, got the win against the tag team champions. And I've been saying this. I don't care how you win as a heel. Cheating to win is okay. Roman Reigns has been cheating for the last 8 years to keep his belt, and it's okay. When you're a heel, you're allowed to do that. They had to get help. They had to cheat to win. I like that Rhea and Dom Dom got booted out of the match and had to go backstage. I like that Imperium got involved. I like where we're going with this. I like that we have these factions kind of all feuding with the Bloodline, with Imperium, with Judgment Day. I did kind of, you always bring up how we forget things. I did think it was kind of random that we never really got anything out of Judgment Day not holding up their end of the Bloodline thing. So I thought that was weird that all of a sudden now Roman's just cool with Bloodline again. He was there on SmackDown, didn't say anything. They just are okay with them helping him out because they're and now Judgment Day helps them, not when it's when it counts.
And also now you have Imperium randomly, Paul Heyman and Imperium having to deal with each other too.
Having to deal,
to take out. So
it's all sorts of stuff. And maybe it's leading to Gunther and Roman. I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but either way, I did like it. And the end is that Judgment Day won. We need to keep building on this. They do this every once in a while where they lose 6 in a row and important pay-per-views. They never win at pay-per-views unless you're Rhea Ripley. And then they win a couple nights in a row and then they lose again. So hopefully they keep this going. They are so over. Dom is so over. They have a ton of merch. So obviously they're selling merch. So keep pushing them. We need more factions in this world. They don't need to be the BCC, but they can be something that they can be more than chicken shit heels. They can split up how they do, where Damian Priest and Finn Balor are winning how they should. Rhea and Dom just is the chicken shit heel, or maybe even Finn could be the chicken shit heel. But let's have Priest and Rhea as the muscles. Maybe bring in JD. I'm just digging this. We need Judgment Day to continue and stay together. So let's get some wins, WWE.
Yeah, for sure.
Good night for them.
Yeah, it was a great night, and yeah, I thought that was going to be my one thing that I responded with was the critique of, Paul Heyman comes out and he's making a phone call to Roman Reigns. Which, can we actually hear the conversation sometimes? Can you please have some voice clips of Roman on the other end or something, just to so we can hear his true thoughts? Because but anyway, he says call Roman Reigns. First of all,
the other end.
you never hear like the beep. When you have Siri, you ask Siri to do something, there's always a little beep, and then Siri but he just says call Roman Reigns.
Yeah, you also got to say hey Siri, you don't just.
Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain with the bloodline, and now they're cool with the bloodline again, and yeah, but still, it was a good night for Judgment Day. I think they're only going to get better from here, and I think the addition of JD McDonough, if that's the angle that they're going, Triple H has done this before. They got our hopes up of a Hurt Business reunion by showing Cedric Alexander and Bobby Lashley and MVP and Omos, and
what happened with that?
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin all in the back, and nothing ever came of that. So, but they did show you could see Finn Balor just kind of looming in that interview with JD. So I thought that was, is that coming? And they're both from Ireland too, so they can play up that, because I think his character is going to be the Irish assassin or something like that, the JD McDonough. So yeah, I'm excited about Judgment Day. I think they're only going to get better. I like that. I did like also too the Rhea Ripley, the foreshadowing that they did with the Becky Lynch. After Becky Lynch cut her promo on Trish Stratus, they showed Rhea Ripley backstage watching that on the monitor, and it kind of led me to think: are they teasing Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley in the future, and is that going to be a program? And I think it would be. I think it would be a great match, a great feud to have, especially if both women are on Raw. And Rhea Ripley even opened up Raw saying, Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. I like that too, because they ran it on this past Monday.
And they said they do, so it's nice. Yeah.
They actually got to talk the talk and walk the walk. And so, yeah, Judgment Day's future is very bright, and I'm excited for it. And do not break them up. Do not. No. I don't. If you're going to add JD, I saw a rumor somewhere that said that Finn Balor is going to be kicked out of Judgment Day, so that they can add JD McDonough. They don't need to do that. Keep Finn Balor in there. Keep add JD McDonough. Keep Damian Priest. Keep Dominic. Keep Rhea Ripley, and let them run the show. Let them be dominant. Let them have a great run on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins has proven that you don't necessarily need to be a champion to be over. And I think Judgment Day can be case in point with that. They don't need to win all the titles. They don't need to hold all the belts, but I think they need to get some wins, and they need to be taken seriously. And I don't think they necessarily need to, I don't think Finn needs to hold the World Heavyweight Championship. And I don't think it would be nice. I would love it. And I would like Damian Priest to get a mid-card title, and, Dominic and, whoever gets shots at the tag titles. So, yeah, it's an exciting time for Judgment Day. And, going off of the main event too, I'm excited about the future of the tag division of WWE right now, because I think KO and Sami, after Solo and Roman, assuming they win at Night of Champions, you still have Imperium. Now you could add Judgment Day to that. There's a lot of up and coming tag teams. Indus Sure did their thing. They made their debut on Raw. So, I think the tag division is actually really stacked right now in WWE, and it's going to give KO and Sami some fun things to do, assuming they win at Night of Champions.
Yeah, if they win.
Yeah.
All right.
Big if. And then last for me, this is one of the most polarizing topics on the internet, but I want to talk about the return of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. So I actually liked it. I actually dug it. I think they're a legit women's tag team that can be taken seriously. They're not just a random tag team that's thrown together in this randomly thrown together division. I think they're a legit women's tag team, and I think it's time. I think it's time that they take the belts off of Raquel and Liv Morgan and put them on Ronda and Shayna. These girls, They're massive heels. I thought they got a lot of heel heat as well. I think they're heat magnets in their promo. I don't know if some of that was piped in or not, but
you never know anymore. Yeah.
But they got booed out of the building, and it was fun to watch. I like how they returned. They just came out of the blue and just attacked Raquel Rodriguez. Liv Morgan's already hurt. I like that Ronda Rousey said that you're going to defend this title one way or another, with a partner or without. These titles are, we're going to take it from you and we're going to beat you down. And then they beat her down and looked like they broke her arm again. And they have past history with each other from their time on SmackDown together before they won the tag titles when Ronda was the women's champion. So yeah, I like this. I like this area for Ronda. I think this is perfect. Keeps her out of the women's title picture, where we know that she's probably 9 times out of 10 going to win. I do think of a feud in the future between her and Rhea would be awesome, but right now I think this is the perfect spot for Ronda Rousey because she's a legit heel, and I think this could build her back up. And I think they need to get those tag team titles off of Raquel and Liv Morgan now, and put them on these girls, put them on Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, and let them just go beast mode on the women's tag team division, and let them hold the titles for a long time. Triple H seems to really like long title reigns with Bianca, Gunther, Roman. So let them hold these titles for quite a while, and just let them run. Let them build these tag teams and build these titles and make them more credible, make them more legitimate, and make them feel prestigious by is having the story. Can anybody beat Ronda and Shayna? Can anybody top these girls? And I think it could lead to some great things. So I'm excited about it.
I agree with you. And I don't know why wrestling fans hate Ronda. They loved her when she first got here. And then as soon as she started becoming kind of like a real wrestler full-timer, they all started shitting on her because of the comments she made. People shitted on her in the UFC. I'm a big UFC fan. We know this. I talk about MMA all the time. I loved Ronda in the UFC. I loved Ronda in Strikeforce. I loved Ronda in WWE. I'm a big Ronda fan. I think she's hot. I think she does her damn thing. I like that she can legitimately kick people's butts. I dig her. Yeah. Obviously she was a little bit more overrated in the UFC than she was when she started fighting some boxers. She was lost, but it is what it is. She is in history forever. She's like Mike Tyson, right? She was a threat. People were afraid to fight her. As soon as she got caught, then it was like, we don't fear you anymore. So that's how life works. But she looked good coming back. She looked in phenomenal shape. She had her baby and everything, but now she looks like she worked out. She was looking ripped, had that tank top on. Shayna looked good. I like that when Ronda punked somebody, you believe it. It's like when Brock does it. It's even like Matt Riddle, if he wasn't dead all the time, he could be someone. He's a real fighter. Like, these people are legitimate people that if they do something, you take it seriously. So I want to see them. I thought they should have won the titles at Mania, and they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't go that route. But Ronda and Shayna are money. Shayna always should have been that badass character like she was in NXT. She had one of the best women's title runs, if not the best women's title run, in NXT. Her, Mandy. They just did their damn thing. I loved it. I thought the return was awesome. It caught me off guard. I had no idea who it was when she first came out and was beating on her.
Same here.
So good stuff. And I hope they win the title. I don't know if it'll be at Night of Champions. I don't know what they plan on doing, but whatever happens, I'm all for it. And I think Ronda, she does get heat and she does get booed. And when you have her with Shayna, you can have Shayna talk a little bit more and kind of help her with her promos. But she cut out okay. Last I think Ronda just gets nervous. I think she fumbles her words. I don't think she's good at memorizing things. And when you got to memorize, it's hard. I think they just need to let her go out and just talk. I think it'd be better, but that's what she did in the UFC, and she cut decent promos. So you can't just, I think but yeah, I'm all for it. And I think them being the champs is legitimate, and they would be fun. I want to see them. I want to see them.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point too, that fans loved Ronda when she first debuted, and then she went and they had the main event at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch and Charlotte and Ronda, and then Ronda went. They loved her, and then Ronda went away for a while, and then came back and won the Women's Royal Rumble, and they loved her again. And for whatever reason, they start off loving her, and then they turn into absolute hating her. And I think it's proof that wrestling fans are
fickle. They're fickle.
Nice. Wrestling fans are fickle.
100%, and we're all fickle. We all do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're wrestling fans are fickle. Yep.
But no, it's good stuff, and I think. Ronda and Shayna should win the tag team titles. And
I agree. Division. Well, let's talk about NXT. They had a up and down show. Woo, 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 woo. It was good. It wasn't good. It was all over the place. I think we're both going to talk about one thing that was good, one thing that's bad. But I want to talk about Cora Jade, generation of Jade. Girl is money. You already know how I feel about her. She's smoking hot. The only bad thing she's doing right now in the world is letting Braun Breaker get on top of her. But other than that, everything she is doing is money. She should have won the belt a long time ago. She's one of the best heels the NXT has ever had in their female division. She's got good moves. Her match this week was okay. I don't think that was all so much her as it was her and Hindley. Maybe just weren't clicking on all cylinders, but I think she needs to meet Roxanne Perez in the finals, and I think she needs to have their rivalry, and I think she needs to win the belt. I think we need to put it back on someone, a heel. I think NXT Women's is always better when they have a heel champion, Shayna Baszler and Mandy Rose. And I think Cora Jade reminds me so much of Mandy Rose, not just at the fact that they're like both hot, but their heel personas are with that, right? Their cockiness, the way they present themselves, carry themselves, their wrestling abilities are very similar. I think Cora Jade should have been, I said it from the start that she should have taken over Toxic Attraction, but why not bring her back and have her be with, Kiana James and JC Jane, and they can start a new faction of heels, and Cora Jade could be the champ and lead that. NXT needs some factions. Females need more factions. It looks like, Damage Control is about to break up, but I think Cora Jade's the future, man. And I think out of everybody, they can't give it to Tiffany Stratton. She's not ready yet. And if you're going to give it to a heel, why give it to Tiffany over Cora Jade? I think it needs to be Cora Jade, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they give it to her, and I think she showed out once again. Her promo was good, and just her presence. She just knows how to represent her heel persona, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I thought this. I mean, you said it best. I think Cora Jade is my favorite to win this women's tournament, and I like Tiffany Stratton too, but I think Cora Jade is probably the better option of the two to win the title. I think this is how, and we talked about this last week, but not to beat a dead horse, but this is how they should have done the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. None of this triple threat nonsense that leads to the semifinals, then the main event, and then the finals in a pay-per-view. I think the way they're doing it, it's like 2 matches a night. So they're not overdoing it by having, we're going to have all 6 matches in one night, and then it's going to lead to the semifinals next week and the championship at the pay-per-view. They're spreading it out a little bit. It's been like 2 matches a night, with one set of people against, and then the other set of people. I like that the winners are coming out to confront. I know Roxanne Perez, had a stare down. And I like that, this thing with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon either, because they were brawling there as well. So, yeah, I'm excited about Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez. I'm excited about, Cora Jade and, what's going to happen next in this whole tournament. So I think it's going to be, this is the way the World Heavyweight Championship tournament should have been, and I think the women's division in NXT is stronger than ever. I know they lost a lot of people in the draft, but I think they've had such a deep women's division for such a long time now that they can push just about anybody and make them a star. And I think this tournament is bringing out the best of everybody.
I agree. I agree.
All right, let's talk. I want to talk about with NXT. This Braun Breaker stuff. Like, I like heel Braun. I like babyface Carmelo Hayes. I think I like that Trick Williams is starting to get some attention now because he's somebody that can go on the mic and in the ring. But this week just felt a little overkill, in my opinion. And this week's episode of NXT was stupid. This whole program was really dumb this week. So, it took 3 segments of Carmelo Hayes calling out Braun Breaker before he finally came out to the daggone ring, which, okay, that's a little too much. That's a little way too much. And then in one of the videos or in one of the segments, they're calling him out. They want him out to the ring right now so we can settle this and we can take care of this. So they bring him out to the ring, or he comes on the screen. He's on video, so he shows up via satellite, and he's sitting in a chair. And then then the camera pans away and it shows him in Carmelo Hayes' barbershop. sitting in the chair, and he even says, "I'm going to get a fresh cut to prepare for our match at Battleground." And then he gets up and leaves. So did he not get his fresh? Like, did he already have the fresh cut? Is he waiting for the cameras to go away so he can have some privacy while they? And then, but to make matters worse, the camera pans even further away, and you see everybody, like all the, I guess they're employees of the barbershop and all the workers. They're just sitting there, and they're like, some of them are smiling, some of them look like they're scared, some of them look like they're quivering in fear that Braun Breaker's there. I mean, and then he just gets up and leaves. That's the thing. He just gets up and leaves. I think this segment could have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And when the camera panned away and you showed that Braun Breaker took all those guys out and beat up all of Carmelo Hayes' friends, and they were all knocked out. And then he ends it with saying, he should have ended it with, "Well, so much for my fresh haircut," or something. And then leave. And then like destroy the barbershop while you're at it too. Just destroy everything. But he didn't do any of that. It was just so dumb. It was so stupid. And then in the main event, or later on in the night, he comes out, and him and Carmelo Hayes, they go at it, and they're cutting a promo back and forth, and they're talking about Battleground. And then Braun Breaker cuts a promo, and he's talking about all the teams that Carmelo Hayes likes. He starts ripping on the Celtics and ripping on the Bruins and ripping on the Patriots, but they're in Florida. So this episode is in Florida. I think Battleground is in the TD Garden. Yeah. It's in Boston, which is where Carmelo Hayes is from. So it makes sense to do that, but do that in Boston. Don't do that in Florida, because you have the Florida Panthers just beat the Boston Bruins in the playoffs. They were an 8 seed that knocked off the 1 seed. The New England, the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics are playing in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, 8 seed against a 2 seed or a 3 seed. And so you're in Florida, and you're cutting this promo about all these Boston teams, trying to get heel heat in Florida about teams in Boston. And even the fans didn't know how to react. They had no idea. Some of them seemed to cheer, some of them seemed to boo, some of them were just like silent, but you could tell they didn't know how to react to all this. The promo itself was stupid. The ending was dumb, with both of them laid out in the middle of the ring after, just duking it out. And I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I was feeling it last week. I was excited about it. I liked heel Braun. This week, it felt a little too much, felt a little overkill, felt really stupid. And now I'm not as excited about this match at Battleground because of this one episode at NXT. Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a missed night for Braun. I thought Carmelo did all right, but it was definitely a missed night for Braun, especially his first as a heel. But yeah, I did think it was funny. And we talked about beforehand how he was like, I don't understand why him just going to the barbershop would piss Carmelo. That would be like me having an enemy, and I see them at the Supercuts I go to, and I'm like, "Yo, that's my Supercuts. I told you to stay out. You can't get no fresh cuts here." Like, don't those guys need business too? I was very, very, and when they did pan off, they were like panning to him, like panning away, and all of them were just in the background, like smiling, like "Hey, we're ready. Braun Breaker's here." It was so weird. It should have panned away with all of them laying on the ground, beat up like you normally do in the WWE, and then him grabbing the chair and throwing it up against. Maybe they didn't want to ruin their stage in the background for NXT. I have no idea, but it was the dumbest. He could at least hit one of them. It was the stupidest thing. I had no idea how that was a heel or anything. And then he comes out and rips a city's teams in the wrong city. And the crowd wanted to boo him because he's a heel. And as soon as you heard one guy like go, boo, wait, what? They all just like stopped and didn't know what to do. I even think someone started cheering like, yeah, Boston's. Oh, wait, no, we don't like Braun Breaker. They were like lost and confused. It was very weird. I did like, though, that Braun once again brought up the fact that he doesn't want that title. He hates it. He just wants to, basically put in work on Carmelo and show that he's, this terrorizing heel now. I like where they're going with that. I like that. Carmelo talked about how them two are above and beyond everybody else in NXT. It had some good moments, but yeah, Braun was definitely a miss. I don't know what they were thinking with that barbershop segment and with him talking about, I mean, he didn't just wing that. So obviously they planned on him talking badly about Boston teams in Florida. I don't know. It was all weird, but it is what it is. Hopefully they'll rebound next week and they'll have another great match like they did when we were there live at Stand and Deliver. So we shall see.
Yeah, I think the build for this is better than their one for Stand and Deliver, because heel Braun has been great. This was just an off night for him, and the whole segment, the whole barbershop quartet segment was stupid. Why are you mad that he's at the barbershop? Like that, oh man, that's gonna light a fire. I can't wait to put my title on the line. He went to my barbershop and didn't hurt my barber. He didn't destroy my barbershop. He didn't he just got a haircut. Oh my goodness, the battle of the haircut. Like the haircut battle royal. I don't know how they're gonna build this match. This was just an off night.
It was weird booking by my boy HBK. But yeah, so that's the weekend review in WWE, man. And it was good. And we're going to go into Friday and have a lot of good stuff to talk about with AEW, I'm assuming, with their big announcements. And we'll dive more into Collision as well. But with that said, it is segment time here. And for the first time ever, we're doing this segment on WWE Wednesday. And it is called...
Who sells dude? Who sells dude? Dude. Who sells dude?
Dude. That was pretty awesome. That was Jimmy Uso saying dude a whole bunch of times, sounding like Matt Riddle. He's got that Samoan can definitely turn into a good surfer dude.
It was like how Jey Uso stayed in character when he cut that promo was awesome. I can't even. It was the week before the draft. They were just about to put their tag team titles on the line, or they were getting their rematch for the tag team titles, and then Jimmy Uso was There's like 5 minutes of that. He's like, "How do we feel after we lost at WrestleMania, dude?" And Jey Uso, "Not sure." Like how do you not know how you don't feel? But were you mad, dude? Not sure. It was a great promo, and the whole dude thing was so funny.
Dude, but our dude is a little bit different. Our dudes are more of dude. Why did you book this decision, dude? So. With that said, we'll start off with shooting. Oh,
wait, hang on, wrong one.
That's the same.
Dude.
Dude. So let's get into it. We'll start off with Mr. Shooting Star Press. And maybe we might only have time for one. It's already 10, 12 minutes over. So what's your main one, just in case? What is your dude moment to Triple H for the week of WWE?
Okay. Why did you have the draft and say that you're going to have split rosters, a roster exclusive to WWE SmackDown and a roster exclusive to Monday Night Raw, if you have no intention of holding true to that? Not even 2 weeks in to, your rosters have been set. They were set on May the 8th, and here we are on May the 17th, 9 days later. Hadn't even been 2 full weeks, and you're already killing your brand split. Already killing it. It makes no sense. You have Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, SmackDown stars, going against Raw superstars, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That one I can kind of forgive them for a little bit because they are the undisputed tag team champions. They have technically the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles, so it makes sense that they're on both brands. But you drafted them to Raw, and you still really haven't given us an outline of what you plan to do with the tag team titles. So this is a confusing decision. You have the SmackDown Women's Championship being defended on Monday Night Raw. You have the Raw Women's Championship being defended on Friday Night SmackDown. Your World Heavyweight Championship, your finals, it's Raw versus SmackDown. So is Night of Champions turning into like the new Survivor Series where it's Battle of the Brands and we're fighting for brand supremacy? You've got Seth Rollins taking shots at Roman Reigns, and you've got Cody Rhodes, who's going against the free agent. Remember, Brock Lesnar is a free agent. He's not even a Raw or SmackDown superstar. This draft, like you made a big deal about it, said it was going to change the game forever. You promised us that the superstars were going to be exclusive to their brand. Whatever title, whatever brand Roman Reigns is not drafted to, that's where the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be. And then not even a week later, you announce, we're going to have SmackDown superstars competing for it. We're going to have Raw superstars competing for it. So what happens if AJ Styles wins the World Heavyweight Championship? Is Raw still without a world title? Does he get traded to SmackDown or to Raw? Does he just come over to Raw by himself? Don't forget Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was on Raw this week. You saw him cutting a deal with Gunther apparently, and you saw him shaking hands. Now he did have a visitor's tag on. He did have a visitor's
Is
badge
that what that was
on,
for? I was
on his
wondering why
phone.
he had a visitor tag. Got
because
it.
he's technically a visitor because he's on SmackDown. He was the number 1 draft pick.
That's funny. I was wondering why it said visit. That's funny.
But then he comes to but being a visitor, you should only, CM Punk didn't even get a visitor's badge when he was backstage. But being a visitor, I didn't know you could, that gave you clearance to just walk to the ring like you want to.
It does.
And, he gets to go to the ring and he's, talking to Roman, I guess, on the phone, and you see him, giving his 2 cents on the Judgment Day and KO Sammy match, and Imperium's out there. And I don't know. I was excited about this draft because I was looking forward to having split rosters and building things and building new stars and building everything up, and opportunity for teams to potentially break up and add some new feuds. And you're not giving us any of that. And instead, you're not even holding true to it. And I don't want to blame Vince McMahon. I don't want to sit there and say this is Vince booking, because, I think this is all Triple H. And I think Triple H needs to be criticized for it. I really do. I think he hasn't really done. He's had some L's in his booking career. How he's done with Damage Control and some of the things he's done with Johnny Gargano. But to me, this is a big one. You promised us this game-changing draft, and not even 2 weeks into it, you are already changing everything with no explanation whatsoever
at all. And I don't know. And why not have the brand? I think brand splits are good. I think AEW should do it as well. I think it's good because you have so many people to utilize that. If you separate them, you have their own titles, they get their own time, they get more presence. It's so much more important. I don't know why they haven't focused on, I don't know if Fox and USA needed the draft. Do they represent, did they want it so it makes them get more ratings, or they just do it for the ratings? The draft has never been a success, in my opinion. I thought it was going to change this year. It literally took 1 second for them to get rid of that idea. Yeah. It's stupid. I think this is a huge dude moment for Triple H in WWE. So yes, good job.
Dude.
Yes, sir. I had a couple. You know what? I'm going to pick one for my dude. I'm going to go with what I wanted to do, and that's going to be Austin Theory takes the pin. Triple H, dude. Why would you have Austin Theory take the L in that match when you have Sheamus there, who will literally lose nothing from taking the L? Here's the thing, too. Let's go back with Theory. He had this gimmick where he was Vince McMahon's chosen one. He did selfies. He was this like uber stupid babyface heel who I loved still. Was pushing for a John Cena match. Triple H takes over, and all of a sudden he loses his money in the bank in a U.S. title shot instead of the world heavyweight title shot. We didn't even know that could happen. He loses, and all of a sudden me and the rest of the world are screaming that this dude is getting buried. Why? He's money. And Triple H said, hold my beer, and has done nothing since then but push him. He won the U.S. title. He's made it feel important. He beat Cena in the opening night at Mania, opening match. Apologies. He's been winning. He never takes L's anymore. Why? For one, we talked about how it was stupid that his belt feels important. You don't see Gunther going for the heavyweight title. He said he didn't even want to. He has the IC. That's the title. That's what Theory should have done. Instead, he goes for a different title and then loses and takes the L in the first round of the match to Bobby Lashley, who he beats. It was just like a really weird. I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't think it's going to take too much from him, but he still lost. It made him feel less. I'm like, you get these people on win streaks like you're doing with Judgment Day right now. Keep it going. Fans notice losses. I know they don't think they do, but they do, especially losses like this. I thought it was really stupid booking by Triple H. I don't know why. Once again, Sheamus could have taken it, especially because you had a backstage segment with Sheamus talking about how he lost and he needed some pints to go get cheered up or whatever he did. Yeah. Why didn't you could have had him take the L and do that? And we didn't even see Theory again. It was like the weakest night we've seen a Theory. So it was, especially last week when he was all new shirt and everything. It was really weird booking. I have no idea, but Triple H, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's a big one. That we clown AEW and criticize them for doing this all the time, having their champions lose, whether it's Wheeler Yuta or whoever, Orange Cassidy or somebody taking clean pinfall losses that they don't need to lose,
Mhm.
or you don't need to put him in that situation.
At
And
all,
I would
yeah.
have been I would have been okay if he had gotten to the finals and taken a clean loss
Mhm.
then. Um, but yeah, like just the fact that he was even in this tournament. And this was what I was afraid of when they announced this World Heavyweight Championship, because over the last few months since Triple H took over, I feel like he's done a really good job of making the US title and the Intercontinental title feel more important than ever.
Mhm.
You know, you have guys like Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley and Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, former world champions and main eventers of big pay-per-views, wanting to compete for the US title and the IC titles respectively. And now, you know, Theory, even when they announced the title, Theory came out and cut a promo saying that that title would look great around my waist, while he already has a title around his
That
waist. So
looks great. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looks great. And then Seth Rollins beat him that night. And then um, yeah, and then this week, this was his first, or last week on SmackDown, this was his debut on SmackDown, and he just takes a clean loss for the
Mhm.
world. The fact that he was even in this tournament, I don't know. It feels like it delegitimate. It makes the title feel illegitimate. It makes
Yeah.
his U.S. title feel unimportant. Makes it feel like, oh, I don't really want this belt. I want that one instead. And it makes me It makes me worry that this is how this is going to be played out going forward with, um, you know, both the IC titles and the US title, that they're going to play second fiddle to this World Heavyweight Championship. And
Yeah.
I think this was case in point. This was the first example of that, by having Austin Theory, who's been red hot, and he got a win over John Cena. He's beaten Bobby Lashley. He's beaten Seth Rollins. He's
Mhm.
beaten Edge. He's beaten a lot of these guys in this tournament. He beat Rey Mysterio. He's
Yep.
beaten a lot of these guys that were in this tournament, and you have him lose cleanly in the opening match of a tournament. It just I don't like it. If you're going to have him hold the US title, you know, build him up and make him a credible threat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Fully with all of that. And let's yeah, man. I mean,
Dude.
Yeah, that gets a big time dude.
I thought it would be hard to find some dudes this week because WWE's been clicking on all cylinders and they had a phenomenal week, but we found some, and I think those were both pretty big dudes. So, dude moments. Oh, and here's the question. We'll answer this and then go. If Bray never returns, was his comeback the worst of all time? I'm going to say yes. And I'm also going to say that Bray Wyatt might go down as the most overhyped wrestler of all time. And that's not a knock on him. I just don't think he ever clicked with WWE, and everyone blamed Vince, and he came with Triple H and it still didn't work. I don't know if it's mental illness, because that's important, and if that's truly it, he had to step away, but I don't think it was working anyway. So yeah, man, I'm going to say, yeah, I agree. I think poor Bray, man, maybe he can, I still think he would thrive in Impact. I think that's where he would thrive the most, but I think he needs that moolah. So
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say it's I can't think of a worse comeback though, of all time, but I think it's the most disappointing for sure, because there was so much hype into Bray Wyatt. There was so much
that pop and everything.
yeah. I mean the White Rabbit promos, that the videos, the QR codes, I think for 6 or 7 solid weeks, the wrestling community was together. There was no drama, because everybody was trying to figure out the White Rabbit. Everybody was coming together to play detective, and people thought could be Baron Corbin because it's Corbin, Kentucky. People thought it could be Dolph Ziggler because he talked about a KFC somewhere, and he played Colonel Sanders. You know, there was everybody playing detective, and you know the Bray Wyatt, the return at Extreme Rules, where they thought they were off the air, and then you know the lights go off and they show Bray Wyatt, and he's doing singing the whole world in his hands,
Oh,
and
that
they
was
show the
so
Wyatt
awesome.
Six. It was, yeah, I had to watch that like 6 or 7 times, and it was so incredible. And then he comes back and he cuts a bunch of promos that really got nowhere. I mean, it was a bunch of like "woe is me," like "I'm happy to be back here" promos. You know, I love the WWE promos that really took him nowhere. Then you got Uncle Harper, Uncle Howdy
Uncle
involved,
Howdy. Yeah.
and then LA Knight happened, and then the Pitch Black match happened, and really never saw him after that. He's 1-0 in his return, so I guess they had him win. But yeah, then we got the Muscle Man dance.
The Muscle
So
Man dance.
and then yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with Bobby Lashley. Like Bobby Lashley lost out on a match at WrestleMania because of whatever's going on with Bray Wyatt, and I do hope he's okay. Mental illness is no joke. I really hope it's, you know, I hope he can come back soon, but I don't know if it's the worst comeback of all time, but I got to say it's probably one of the most disappointing of all time for sure, because there was a lot of hype and hope surrounding Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, if it's not, it's definitely top 3, man. But
yeah,
hopefully he can have a career, because I do like Bray. I always have. I even like Tusky Harris a little bit. So, but thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to B-Roll for giving us the comments and for being our #1 fan. We appreciate you. Take that, Patrick. And as always, keep subscribing, keep viewing, keep watching. Go to Twitch, go to YouTube, check us out. And I am Mr. MWO, and with me as always is
Mr. Shooting Star Press. Follow us on TikTok. Hit us up on Apple and Spotify, everywhere you get your podcast from. We're blowing up, and so come with us on this ride. Go rate us and review us as well, and follow us on TikTok.
Yes, let's go.
All right, 2 dudes out.